that's H-I instead of H-I-G-H, okay? We tried to make it like Denver, but, people don't want high, like let's get high, okay? But if you go to our website, you can see we have a nav bar along the top. Home, resources, advertising, events, and contact us. We also have some really nice videos of some of the events we've gone to. My partner Luke makes really nice videos. We have our own content of events, and in fact, the 5280 Wellness ad that you see on this show was done by Luke. But if you go to our resources page, can we go to the resources page?
Yep, there, you already got it.
Okay, scroll down. You'll see down here, Medicinal Marijuana of Colorado. This is a Colorado-only forum. I know there's a lot of California forums out there, but we're Colorado people, and we want to hear from Colorado people. We're trying to keep it local. On this forum, there's a thing that says Stories from Colorado. Okay? Now, back on the website, if you look next to the bar that shows the name of the forum, there's a thing that says, Tell your own patient story here, and there's a link directly to the patient stories on the forum, and then business stories here, because we also would like to hear from some business people. I mean, I've been to 60, 70 dispensaries the last couple of months talking to them about our magazine and trying to collect these stories, and they tell me they've rented a space, they've done renovations, sometimes very expensive, $50,000, $100,000 of renovations. They've hired people, they're paying utilities, they're paying taxes. And in this economy, why does nobody appreciate that? I mean, this is really a positive thing that is happening. There are businesses opening, and okay, maybe there are too many. I mean, I've heard somebody say there's more dispensaries than Starbucks. But just like restaurants, let's let the patients sort out who stays open. Let's not have the government sniping people like with the $5,000 surprise that they did when they passed it in January, and you only had like 30 days to sign up for that. The government has all these ideas of how they're going to weed out, no pun intended, a large part of the dispensaries, and I think that's wrong. The patients need the dispensaries. The patients need the information that they can get at the dispensaries. They need the environment of the dispensary to get their medicine.
Well, David, I think we have a couple questions actually in our chat room.
Yep.
Far out.
Yeah. First,
right on.
When is the magazine going to become available, and where?
Okay, we're going to print next week because we want it out by 4/20. Okay, 4/20 is a big thing, and a lot of people may not even know what 4/20 is. I looked at Wikipedia. 4/20. At some high school in California, like Santa Monica or somewhere.
This is actually very interesting.
They used to meet at a statue of Louis Pasteur every day at 4:20 p.m. and smoke joints after school. That's really the origin of 4/20. I've asked a lot of people, nobody knew. I finally said, you know what, I'm going to Google it. And that's what you come up with at Wikipedia.
I didn't know.
So I know, a lot of people don't know. Everybody knows 420 is important, but
what the biggest rumor I've heard 420 comes from is that it's the LA Dispatch for a marijuana call. Like, we got 420 in progress.
Right, that's the other thing I've heard, is that it's some police signal, but it's not a police signal. The second entry on Wikipedia happens to do with Boulder, Colorado, that had the first and biggest 420 rally in the country for the longest time. So there's a little story about 420.
Cool. And so your magazine comes out at 420, or?
Yeah, if we go to print next week, we'll have it by 420. We're going to take it to the 420 rally downtown. We're going to take 1,000 copies there. We would like to give it directly to patients. It's going to have patient stories, not brownie recipes. I've met a lot of patients, and they all like hearing about other patients. And in fact, if you post your story on our forum, your story may wind up in the magazine. Please say if you don't want it to, okay? Put something there. You'd rather not have your story in the magazine, because otherwise we may just, if we like your story, we may put it in the magazine. If your story is printed in the magazine, we will also offer you a $20 coupon for any of our supporters.
Cool.
So it can be worth your while. It takes 10 minutes. Now, you do have to sign in, right? I mean, it's a normal forum. We don't want spammers. We don't want people that are going to be posting abusive content. So that's one way you control it. You're going to have to enter an email address. You have to make up a name. You can be Mickey Mouse or Donald Duck. It doesn't matter. I think the story is what matters. It doesn't matter exactly who you are. What matters is that you are a person who lives in Colorado. You might want to mention if you're a voter. And you post your story, and you take the time to do this. So when I go up to Capitol Hill, I can look these people in the eye, and I can say, 200 people from Colorado logged in and spent time posting their story here. And I want to say something about the Capitol Hill thing, because I know a lot of people think you can't do anything about the government or against the government. In my paralegal travels, at Fathers for Equal Rights, we got 3 or 4 people together, and we lobbied, and we actually changed the child support laws in this state. It didn't take $200,000 to a big lobbying group, $1,000 silk suit lawyers and stuff like that. To me, that's not really the way to get it done. Those lobbyists are friendly with the legislators, and they take them out to lunch on their expense account, and I think they laugh at their clients who paid tens of thousands of dollars to get something done. We did it just by going to the legislature ourselves as parents who paid child support. Child support in this state used to have to be paid till age 21. There's a problem with that. That meant that the government was forcing adults to support other adults. That's not allowed under the law. It violates even the Fourth Amendment to the Constitution of the United States. And we brought this to the attention of the legislature. We got a legislator to author a bill, and we got a bill passed. And I'm saying that a few sincere people, by presenting patient stories to these same legislators, can change the tone of the debate. And I fully intend to do this. We're doing this as volunteers. I'm a volunteer. My partner Luke's a volunteer. Even Victoria, who does all of our graphics and did our nice logo and everything, and here's how our magazine's going to look. It's going to be a nice piece. She's volunteering. We're all volunteering because we think this needs to be done.
Which it does. It absolutely does. So everyone who's watching the show, make sure to hit up their website, milehigh, not H-I-G-H, mmjpatient.com, and upload your patient stories because, like David said, that really could help out a lot. And I guess
it says right there, damn, you go, David. So while you were saying there's people in the chat room,
a lot of people
riled up from.
I've been to a lot of dispensaries, and I have to say I've gotten a good reception. But I also keep hearing the horror stories about all of the problems that these dispensary people are living with. Some of them have told me they're afraid to watch the news because they're going to see a new rule for their business on the news before they even know about it, or even rumors about their business. Things keep changing. It's very difficult to be in business and spend $100,000 keeping a business open when you're in limbo, when the government has more or less shown their cards that they would like to get rid of you, and they're trying to get rid of you, and they're making things very difficult for you. And it's crazy that right now about 250 people have submitted their licenses, but only 3 or 4 have been inspected and told they're good to go.
Well, David, we've got one more question before we just about run out of time. So real quickly here.
Yep, we had a question.
Who's faster, Wyatt Earp or Jesse James, right?
Yes, that actually was the question. And who would you say?
Wyatt Earp.
There you go.
Okay.
He had the Bun Line special, for God's sake. I mean,
that counts for something. All right, so we had a question or a suggestion if you would consider having an area for veterans on your site and in the magazine.
We would, and we actually are considering an area for older people, and we've tossed it around a name. There's AARP, and we were thinking MMRP or something. So we're thinking as the magazine moves along, we would like to address things like veterans. We would like to meet a veterans group who would like to submit content and maybe take over a couple of pages, have their own section. And already one of the dispensaries that will be one of our supporters is thinking of doing sort of the older folks thing, like the retired people's 2 pages.
I think that would be really cool because a lot of people
we're doing
medical marijuana is for the younger community.
Right, we're doing this for the patients. And so if the patients are veterans or the patients are senior citizens or whatever they are, that's who we're doing this for. We're not doing this to sell bongs or, tout some latest marijuana smoking fad, right? We're doing this so patients can learn about patients. Patients don't have to feel alone. They can see there's a lot of other patients like them. And what I really need to do is drive this into a few skulls on Capitol Hill. And believe me, it can be done. It can be done.
Well, cool. I believe I can as well, and thank you, David, very much.
Yeah, and everyone in the chat's really appreciating it. Lucy says to tell them that to tell you that they really appreciate what you're doing, and of course we all do. That will really help us out a lot. So.
Please go and post a story.
I mean, to post my story about
I have a job. Luke has a job. Victoria has her little graphics business. I mean, we're paying for all of this out of our own pockets.
Hey, cool.
I mean, it'd be nice if 3-4 months from now the magazine gets popular and we can make some gas money. But we're going to have only 7 or 8 advertisers. So think about that. Cush has 140-something. We're going to have 7 or 8.
Well, thank you very much for joining us tonight on our show. Once again, that's